Yo, what's up, y'all? It's your boy Roscoe P coming back to you with another one of my tales from overseas. This one comes to you from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. I come back on a vacay after being in Japan for a while, and one of my homeboys, my boy who is like my ace, my homie, he was like, "Yo, I'm going to Brazil. You should come with me." He been there mad times. I'm like, "Yo, cool. I'll go with you, man. I trust you." My man's name is Bruce. So me and Bruce fly down there, and it is off the chain. It's not. It's similar to things that I've seen, and then again, it was similar. It wasn't similar to anything I've seen. Right? It's just kind of like a whole nother world out there. And we get there, and Bruce is like, "Yo, I'm gonna take you on a night, bro. Like you gonna have fun." And Bruce had homegirls there, and the homegirls lived in the favelas. And the favelas, for the y'all that don't know, are like the slums, right? And they're it's the hood of Brazil, right? And you don't normally go into the favelas without either getting invited or knowing somebody. Like you don't just walk up in there, right? And so what ends up happening is, Bruce's girl is like, "Yo, Roscoe, I'm gonna take care of you, you know." And so we go to a club, and the club was called Via Show. And the club isn't in the favela, but it's close to the favela. So Via Show is like this huge club, like 30,000 people partying, everything. And so when we got there, the guy that was supposed to get us in the Via Show dropped the ball. And Bruce is like, "Yo, I'm going to go back to the crib." And Bruce's homegirl's like, "Yo, well, they party in the favelas where I live." And I was like, "Yo, F it. I'm rolling, yo. I got a party. Like, tonight's the night. I got to see something." And we get a taxi, me and Bruce's girl, and we go to her favela. Now, I only met this girl like a week ago. So I'm like, "Yo, hey, I don't know nothing. I ain't seen nothing, you know." Like, show me something, but keep me safe. I'm in an unfamiliar hood. So the craziest thing about the favela is it's one road to get in and out, right? So if anything pops off, they already know this dude's coming down this road. We're going to get him. So the cab drops us off, puts us right in front of the one road. We get to the road, we get out the cab, get to the road, and I'm looking spiffy. I'm like, "Yo, let's go, let's go." Uh, and she's like cute dress. She's looking cute. She's like, "Yo, let's go." And so we start to walk up this hill, and one, the hill is steep. For no reason, the hill is steep. And for two, they had these giant speakers stacked on top of each other. Three over, three over, three up, three over. So it's huge, and it's like boom, like deafening bass. And they had them in different areas. So as you walk up, there's one set of speakers. You go further up the hill, there's another set. So me and her ended up stopping at the third set of speakers, and they were playing this like Bali funk, which is like this mixture of like jazz, hip hop, like all types of crazy stuff. It's like a mix. I can't even describe what it is, but it's like great beats, and it's just like it has you moving, right? If you can't dance, you still move to it. And we go there, and as we're walking up this hill, you see the dudes with like the guns over their head or holding them. They're the enforcers of the community. I was asking, I'm like, "Who are they? Why they just walk around with guns?" She was like, "Yo, they the enforcers." Because in the favelas, you run your own shop. Like, if you are the king of the favela, you have your own security. Like, the police don't go in the favelas. The favelas police themselves. So these are the police of the favelas, right? Dudes that just be rolling around. And so what ends up happening, but they as long as you don't cause no ruckus, then no one's gonna bother you. And she was like, "Don't worry, you're safe. I know everybody." I was like, "Cool, cool." So she's telling me about the rules of the favela. She's like, "Yo, you can't like cause ruckus." And I was like, "What you mean? Like start a fight or something?" She was like, "Nah, like if a dude is with his girl, you can't holler at that girl because she's with somebody, because that causes fights, and fights are dangerous in the favelas." And they be like, "Nah, nah, nah." So the police dudes is like, "Yo, Don't do it. Like, don't start no ruckus. Don't act crazy. So as we're there, I'm sitting there, I'm dancing with her, and she was like, oh, nobody knows you're American. You look Brazilian, keep your mouth shut. I was like, cool. So we talking, I'm whispering in her ear, asking her questions. She talking back to me. And cute chick, she's real cute. And so there are these three dudes over to the left of me. And, they're eyeing her. And she looked, and then she stopped looking. She's like, nah, that's not gonna bode well. I was like, what happened? She was like, you see them three dudes, they trying to holler at me. But so what she did was she got closer to me to show him like, nah, I'm with him, And she wasn't even with me. She was just like, yo, I just don't want to talk to nobody, so I'm with you. I was like, cool. So what ends up happening is, the dude is still looking at her, and he's dancing, and he got his eye on her, and she's dancing with me, and she's like, nah, I'm not going to look at him because he's going to make... And I look at him like, not in no threatening way, but I'm just looking to observe, like to see what's going on, right? Because this is all new to me, so I'm just observing my surroundings. And the guy, his homeboy taps him on the shoulder and is like patting him. He looks at his homeboy pats him and points past me. So I'm like, what the... I look to my right. There's a dude sitting there with a red FUBU shirt, rosary beads around his wrist, and a MAC-10 with the extendo clip. Just watching the whole thing happen. And so the dude looks at me, and he's like, my fault. And I'm like, what happened? She was like, yo, that's one of the enforcers, one of the police. Like, he's watching what's happening. And he probably gonna have words with him later about what he was doing. Why were you doing this? What was going on? Why were you doing this? And she was like, that's why his boys backed him up. And I'm like, yo, that's crazy, yo. And I'm like, why is that like that? She's like, so many fights start over women in the favelas. Like, and then it leads to more violence, and they want to try to keep the peace. So that's just one of the rules. Don't hit on women in the favelas. You just don't do it. Especially... not don't hit on women, but like you can hit on a woman, she got to be single though. If she not, leave her alone, And so we're jamming out to Bali Funk. I mean, it's early in the morning, and she's like, yo, like I got to get you home. Like when it gets too late, like the police might come and raid. It might get crazy here. And I'm like, yo, they come through like that? She was like, yeah, they come through with a vengeance. So it may be like 3 a.m. I go back down. She gets me a cab. She's like, yo, I'm going to go home. I got you a cab. I get in the cab. She gives me a hug, gives me a kiss on my cheek. She's like, yo, I'll see you tomorrow. And that was one of the most interesting parties I've ever been to, man. Like a party in the favela. There's nothing like... I know, I'm not going to say that. A party in the favela is different. But I've seen different parties before. So on the next installment of Roscoe P's Tales from Overseas, I'll tell you about one of the best parties I've ever been to in my life. Man, if y'all can just go to one of these parties, it would set you up. You'll be like, man, I've lived life. Yeah, man. So, yo, hit that like button, subscribe, and holla at your boy Roscoe P. All right. Next time, I give you another tale from overseas.